The Christian Complete Armor by William Grinnell. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 18. In the Spirit. Chapter 3. Fervency necessary in order to pray in the Spirit. The second thing required in praying with our spirit is fervency. The soul keeps the body warm while it is in it. So much as there is of our soul and spirit in the duty, so much is there of heat and fervency. If the prayer be cold, we may certainly conclude that the heart is idle and bears no part in the duty. Our spirit is an active creature. What it doth is with a force, whether bad or good. Hence, in Scripture, the poor laboring man is said to set his heart on his wages. Deuteronomy 24, verse 15. The hope of what he shall have at night make him sweat at his work in the day. Desirous set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Daniel 6:14. When the spirit of a man is set about a work, he will do it to purpose. If thou shalt seek the Lord with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Deuteronomy 4:29. That is fervently. This consists not in a violent agitation of the bodily spirit. A man may put his body into a heat in duty, and the prayer be cold, that is, fervent prayer that flows from a warm heart, and enkindled affections like an exaltation which is first set on fire in a cloud, and then breaks forth into thunder. My heart is hot within me, while I am using the fire burn. Then spake I with my tongue, Lord, make me to know my end. Psalms 39, verse 3 and 4. Now as zeal is not one single affection, but the vehemency of all, so fervency in prayer is when all the affection acts strongly and suitably into the several parts of prayer. In confession, when the soul melts into a holy shame and sorrow for the sin he spreads before the Lord, he feels smart and pain within, and doth not act a tragical part with a comical heart. Chrysostom said, to paint tears is worse than to paint the face. Here is true fervency. I mourn in my complaint and make a noise. Psalms 55, verse 2. There may be fire in the pan when there is none in the piece. A loud wind, but no rain with it. David made a noise with his voice and mourned in his spirit. So in petition the soul is drawn out with strong desires of the grace it prays for, with breakings of heart, sometimes set out by the violency of thirst, which is more tormenting than that of hunger. As the hunted hart panteth after the cool waters, so did David's soul after God. Psalms chapter 42, verse 1. Fervency in prayer is sometimes represented by the straining of a wrestler. Jacob is said to wrestle with the angel, and of those that run in a race. Acts 26, verse 7. Instantly serving God, day and night, they exerted themselves. My soul breaketh for longing. Psalms 119, verse 20. As one that with straining breaks a vein. But why must we thus pray in the Spirit fervently? First, from the commandment, thou shalt love the Lord with all thy strength and with all thy might, and with his word shall be in thy heart, which imports the affectionate performancy of every duty. Sever the outward from the inward part of God's worship, and he owns it not. Who hath required this at your hand, saith God. Isaiah 1:12. As if he had said, did I ever command you to give a beast's heart of sacrifice, and keep back your own? Why dost thou pray at all? Wilt thou say, because God commands it? Then why not fervently, which the command chiefly intends? When you send for a book, would you be pleased with him that brings only the cover? And will God accept the skin for the sacrifice? The external part of the duty is but as the cup. Thy love, faith, and joy are the wine he desires to taste. Without these thou givest him but an empty cup. And what is this but to mock him? Secondly, to comport the name of God. The common description of prayer is calling on the name of God. Now, as in prayer we call upon the name of God, so it must be with a worship suitable to his name, else we pollute it. This is the chief meaning of the third commandment. In the first, God provides that none besides himself be worshipped. In the second, that he, the true God, be not served with will worship, but his own institutions. And in the third, that he be not served vainly and negligently. There is no attribute in God, but calls for this fervency in his worship. First, he is a great and glorious God. As such, it becomes us to approach his presence with our affections in their best array. Are yawning prayers fit for a great God's hearing? Darest thou speak to such majesty before thou art well awake, and hast such a sacrifice prepared as he will accept? Cursed be the deliverer that hath in his flock a male, and sacrifices unto God a corrupt thing. For I am a great king, saith the Lord of hosts, and my name is dreadful among the heathen. See here anything less than the best we have is a corrupt thing. We will accept a little, if it be the best, but he abhors that thou shouldest save the best for another. He that offers not the strength of his affections is a deceiver, because he robs him of his due, and he is a great God. When Jacob intended a present to the governor of the land, he bids his children take of the best of the fruit of the land and the vessels. The awful thoughts which God extorts from the very heathen by his mighty works reproach us, who live in the bosom of the church, and do justice to his holy name, by our spiritless manner of serving him. Secondly, he is the living God. Is a dead-hearted prayer sacrifice suitable to a living God? How can that be accepted of him which never came from him? Lay not your dead prayers by his side. The lively prayers is his, the dead thy own. The living, they shall praise him. The glorious angels who for their zeal are called seraphim, and a flame of fire, these he chose to minister to him in heaven. And the saints who sojourn on earth have their extraction from heaven, and their spirits raised and refined from the dullness of the earthly constitution. He sets apart for himself as priest to offer up spiritual sacrifices unto him. The quicker any one is himself, the more offensive is a slow workman to him. How then can God, who is all life, brook thy lazy devotions? When he commanded the neck of an ass to be broken, and not offered up unto him, was it because he was angry with the beast? No, it was his own workmanship, but to teach us how pleasing a dull heart is to him in his service. Thirdly, he is a loving God, and love will be paid in no coin but its own. Give God love for love, for he accounts that you do not give him anything. If you love me, keep my commandments. John 14:15. And if a man would give all the sustenance of his house for love, it would be condemned. Canticles 8:7. So if a man think to give God anything in prayer instead of his love and fervent affection, it will be condemned, because it doth not correspond with the affections which God expresses towards us. He draws out his heart with his purse, and gives himself with all his gifts to his people. Therefore he expects our hearts should come with all our services to him. It is no wonder to see the servant whose master is hard and cruel have no heart to do his work. But love in the master puts life into the servant. And therefore God, who is incomparably the best master, detains to be served as none but the worst among men are accustomed to be. End of chapter 3.